with a temperature of 65. At Findlay, it was sunny, with a temperature of 75. At Cincinnati, it was mostly sunny, with a temperature of 72. It was partly sunny, with a temperature of 71 at Toledo, 71 at Cleveland, and 71 at Mansfield. It was cloudy, with a temperature of 66 at Worcester, 66 at Akron-Fulton Airport, and 69 at Columbus. Reports from nearby cities outside Ohio. At Pittsburgh, rain was falling, with a temperature of 70. At Parkersburg, it was partly sunny, with a temperature of 65. It was cloudy, with a temperature of 64 at Erie, 66 at Meadville, and 64 at Buffalo. The urgent weather message. For the following counties, in Ohio, Carroll, Columbiana, and Tuscarawas, severe thunderstorm watch number 401 remains in effect until 10 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time for the following counties, in Ohio, Carroll, Columbiana, and Tuscarawas. Remember, a severe thunderstorm watch means the conditions are favorable for the development of severe weather, including large hail and damaging winds, in and close to the watch area. While severe weather may not be imminent, persons should remain alert for rapidly changing weather conditions and listen for later statements and possible warnings. Stay tuned to NOAA weather radio, commercial radio and television outlets, or internet sources for the latest severe weather information. Repeating, severe thunderstorm watch number 401 remains in effect until 10 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time for the following counties, in Ohio, Carroll, Columbiana, and Tuscarawas. The current time is 7:49 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. This is NOAA Weather Radio KDO 94 originating from the National Weather Service Forecast Office in Cleveland. We supply the latest available information for Northeast Inland Ohio over KDO 94 from Akron on a frequency of 162.400 MHz. On the latest weather map, a cold front will move east of the local area this evening with a secondary cold front moving east across the region tonight. High pressure will build over the Ohio Valley Tuesday through early Thursday before a cold front drifts south across the region Thursday through the weekend. The forecast for Northeast Inland Ohio. Rest of tonight, mostly cloudy with a chance of thunderstorms with a slight chance of showers this evening, then mostly clear. Patchy fog. Lows in the mid-50s. Southwest winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Chance of rain 50%. Tuesday, patchy fog in the morning. Mostly sunny. Highs in the mid-70s. West winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tuesday night, mostly clear. Lows in the upper 50s. Southwest winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Wednesday, sunny. Highs in the lower 80s. Southwest winds 10 to 15 miles per hour with gusts up to 25 miles per hour. Wednesday night, mostly clear. Lows in the lower 60s. Southwest winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Gusts up to 25 miles per hour in the evening. Thursday, partly cloudy. Highs in the lower 80s. Thursday night, partly cloudy. Lows in the lower 60s. At 7 p.m., weather reports for selected cities. At Akron-Canton Regional Airport, light rain was falling. The temperature was 65 degrees, dew point 62, and the relative humidity was 90%. The wind was south, at 10 miles an hour. The pressure was 29.74 inches, and rising. Elsewhere across Ohio, at Youngstown, rain was falling, with a temperature of 65. At Findlay, it was sunny, with a temperature of 75. At Cincinnati, it was mostly sunny, with a temperature of 72. It was partly sunny, with a temperature of 71 at Toledo, 71 at Cleveland, and 71 at Mansfield. It was cloudy, with a temperature of 66 at Worcester, 66 at Akron-Fulton Airport, and 69 at Columbus. Reports from nearby cities outside Ohio.
W8VPV. Repeater. Net.
Good evening and welcome to the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club's Monday evening transmission of Amateur Radio Newsline. My name is Russ. My call is KD8VYT. But for this presentation of Newsline, I will be using the club call Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor. Without further ado, this is Amateur Radio Newsline.
Amateur Radio Newsline report number 2484 with a release date of Friday, June 6th, 2025 to follow in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We begin this week with a developing story. As Newsline went to production, the FCC prepared for the departure of two commissioners. Commissioner Nathan Symington announced on Wednesday, June 4th, that he was leaving the post he has held since 2020, following his appointment by President Donald Trump. His announcement follows an earlier one from Commissioner Jeffrey Starks, a Democrat, that he would leave the FCC. Both departures were scheduled to happen by June 6th, meaning that with one other seat already left vacant, the President and the U.S. Senate must now fill 3 spots. Until then, the FCC will have temporarily one Republican and one Democratic commissioner each. Neither man's statement gave reasons for the departure. The following is a QST. A major antenna maker discontinues its production for ham radio. NOAA's weather radio stations go off the air for upgrades, and a new leadership for the popular 13 Colonies special event in the U.S. All this and more as Amateur Radio Newsline report number 2484 comes your way right now.
From around the world, this is Newsline, Amateur Radio's independent, on-the-air news and bulletin service. And now reporting from Valparaiso, Indiana, here's Paul Brown, WD9GCO.
The popular amateur radio antennas manufactured by Stepper are being discontinued. The company announced that it is halting their production this summer. Jim Dameron, N8TMW, has the details.
Stepper has announced that it is stopping production of all amateur radio and other consumer antennas starting in August. The company's statement, which appears on its website, said it would continue to honor all product warranties and provide technical support as needed. The company said, quote, "Given our long history of impact and innovation, we don't take this decision lightly, but have decided that it is necessary for our ongoing operations and to make sure we can continue to efficiently provide our existing customers with product support services," end quote. All antenna and spare parts orders will be fulfilled by the company through the end of August. After the 31st of the month, Stepper will sell spare parts as long as the inventory permits. Based in Washington State, the company has been well known in the amateur radio community since 2001. Stepper produces a variety of mechanically adjusted, remotely tuned, frequency-optimized HF-VHF Yagi, vertical and dipole antenna systems which serve military, commercial, emergency communications, and consumer markets. This is Jim Dameron, N8TMW.
The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration is in the process of temporarily taking its radio stations off the air for scheduled updates. And Randy Sly, W4XJ, tells us what to expect.
As some parts of the United States enter hurricane season, which officially began on June 1st, the National Weather Service is continuing with its nationwide update of their Advanced Weather Interactive Processing System. This system is used for weather data processing and communications, two functions that are especially critical during storms and other weather-related emergencies. The upgrades will be taking more than 1,000 radio stations of the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration off the air on a rolling basis for 2 to 3 days in a scheduled rollout for their 122 weather forecast offices. Broadcasters and ham radio groups have expressed concern about not having access to these emergency stations during those periods. NOAA Weather Radio, known as the Voice of the National Weather Service, is a nationwide network of radio stations broadcasting continuous weather information directly from the nearest weather forecast office. These stations broadcast official weather service warnings, watches, forecasts, and other hazard information 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The NWS is using social media and other means to inform citizens in the affected areas when their stations will be out of service. They are also encouraging citizens to rely on alternate sources for weather warnings during the outage, including local TV and radio, weather apps, and NWS websites. This is Randy Sly, W4XJ.
The Sable Island de-expedition team is heading back there next year, and they'll have company. John Williams, VK4JJW, has that report.
The CY0S team of de-expeditioners will be returning to Sable Island in 2026. The operators announced in a press release that Parks Canada, Sable Island, has invited them to return next March and has approved their plans for a 10 to 12-day de-expedition. As they set up to operate on this remote island in Atlantic Canada, they'll have some welcome company. Operators from the CY9C de-expedition team who had activated St. Paul Island in 2024. The CY9C operators knew that year that their successful activation on St. Paul was likely to be the last for a long time on that challenging, environmentally sensitive landscape. Like Sable Island, St. Paul Island is considered one of the more difficult de-expedition destinations in North America. Windswept Sable Island is perhaps best known for its population of wild horses. Team leaders for Sable Island will be Murray, WA4DAN, and Glenn, W0GJ. A website has already been set up at cy0s.com by webmaster Chaz, W4GKF. This is John Williams, VK4JJW.
A Citizens Band operator is facing a fine after the FCC charged him with a series of operating violations. We hear more from Kevin Trotman, N5PRE.
An Illinois man faces a $25,000 penalty from the FCC for unauthorized operation of a Citizen Band radio. The agency announced its decision on May 30th, 2025, 2 years to the day after it issued a notice of apparent liability against Jamie John Leon. The agency's Enforcement Bureau said that he repeatedly voided his operating authority by sending nonverbal, indecipherable sound effects over long periods, causing malicious interference and engaging in one-way transmissions. According to the FCC document, Leon did not file a response to the 2023 Notice of Liability. Citizen Band Radio is not a licensed service in the United States. Operators retain the privilege of using CB by agreeing to comply to the relevant regulations stipulated in the Communications Act of 1934. This is Kevin Trotman, N5PRE.
Meanwhile, the Australian Communications and Media Authority has proposed that reported abuses of Citizens Band regulations that are deemed serious should be referred to the police for further investigations. Citizens Band operators are covered by a class license in Australia under the Radio Communications Act. The current regulations are set to sunset on the 1st of October. Public comment is being accepted through the 15th of July. NASA will no longer operate its Spot the Station website for fans of the International Space Station. Cell MB KB3TZD explains.
If you like to keep tabs on the International Space Station, and you've been doing so via NASA's Spot the Station website, you will need to change your space station viewing strategy starting the 12th of June. NASA will be discontinuing the website as of that date, and will no longer display opportunities for sightings on their site. Subscribed users who have been receiving text and email notifications linking them to the website will no longer have this option either. The announcement on the website now directs ISS watchers to instead download NASA's official Spot the Station mobile app onto their Apple or Android smartphones. The Spot the Station app expands notification of viewing opportunities in the United States and across the globe, as well as providing additional capabilities to improve user experiences. This is Celembi, KB3TZD.
Throughout the month of June, hams are celebrating an important hiking trail in New Brunswick, Canada. Travis Lisk, N3ILS, has those details.
There's a lot of history stretching along the distance of nearly 60 kilometers, or 36 miles, that define Canada's Dobson Trail, a preeminent hiking trail in New Brunswick. The nation's longest trail to be maintained by volunteers, it is amply populated with a number of sites in the worldwide Flora and Fauna program. The trail is the first part of the Fundy Footpath in Atlantic Canada. Named for the outdoorsman Art Dobson, who led the volunteers as they carved out and built the trail by hand, it marks its 65th anniversary this year. Throughout June, special event station VC9DT will be on the air celebrating by calling CQ. The Atlantic Coast DX and Contest Group, VE9ACC, and the Canadian chapter of Worldwide Flora and Fauna will be activating the special call sign on different locations along the trail and on various bands using single sideband and FT8, FT4. Details and more about the trail's history can be found on the QRZ.com page for VC9DT. This is Travis Lisk and 3ILS.
It's time for you to identify your station. We are the Amateur Radio Newsline, heard on bulletin stations around the world, including the N9I AA repeater system from southern Michigan through northern Indiana to the south side of Chicago on 146.685 on Thursday evenings at 8:30 p.m. Central. Be listening on June 19th for a special FM radio broadcast celebrating Edwin Armstrong's development of FM radio. Kent Peterson, KC0DGY, tells us about the special programming that's planned.
The call sign W8VPV is etched in cement atop the doorway of a small brick transmitter building in New Jersey, not far from the radio tower where history's first FM broadcast began in 1938. Those steady transmissions became a reality only 3 years after engineer and inventor Edwin Armstrong had given a public demonstration at an engineering conference showing that frequency modulation radio could deliver static-free sound graced with a remarkable fidelity that was previously unheard of. FM broadcasting will return temporarily to W2XMN's original VHF low-band frequency, 42.8 megahertz, beginning at noon on Thursday, the 19th of June. The northern New Jersey tower, once used by W2XMN, will broadcast a repeat of programming first aired in 2005 to commemorate Armstrong's successful FM demonstration in 1935. The content includes interviews with Armstrong's niece, Jean Hammond, and with Tom Lewis, the author of the book Empire of the Air, Men Who Made Radio. According to a report on the RadioWorld.com website, a restored phasotron transmitter will be running 250 watts of power into a vertical antenna. The structure known as the Alpine Tower is still used today. Radio station WFDU, the public radio station licensed to Fairleigh Dickinson University in New Jersey, is on the air at 89.1 FM, of course. This is Kent Peterson, KC0DGY.
One of the season's most popular HF operating events here in the U.S. is honoring its founder as he steps away from 16 years at the helm. Mark Abramovich, NT3V, has the details.
If you haven't heard of the 13 Colony special event or heard stations calling in the annual activity between July 1st and July 8th, you have missed a unique opportunity to celebrate the history of the U.S. and mark the American Revolution. Ken Vallone, KU2US, who conceived the idea of activating stations in the 13 original colonies, is going into semi-retirement. Vallone is passing on the responsibility for event coordination to Tony James, N4ATJ of McAdenville, North Carolina, a longtime 13 colonies coordinator for his home state's K2J station. Vallone will remain involved as the New York State coordinator for K2A. Bob Jajuai, W8VPV, who joined Vallone more than a dozen years ago in his passion to promote American history via an amateur radio special event, is helping to ensure a smooth transition. Jajuai is coordinator for WM3PEN, a bonus station that recognizes Philadelphia's role as the birthplace of the Declaration of Independence. Jajuai said that in its first year, the event recorded some 12,000 QSOs. That grew to a breathtaking 292,426 contacts in 2024. It also attracted operators who now run bonus stations in Great Britain, GV13COL, and France, TM13COL, recognizing the role the two countries played in America's war for independence. This year's 13 Colony Certificate will recognize the work Vallone has done to make the event so popular. Vallone, however, shared a different perspective on why the event is such a success. In an email sent recently to all hands involved, he He wrote, quote, "I just only started this event, and I tried to keep it going, but it was you folks who also, through your participation and dedication, managing your states and special bonus stations, Philadelphia, England, and France, that made this whole thing work," end quote. To find out more about the 13 Colonies special event, go to the text version of this story at arnewsline.org and click on the link there. This is Mark Abramovich, NT3V.
It has been a productive year so far for amateur radio operators in New Hampshire. A memorandum of understanding between the state and New Hampshire ARES has designated emergency operators as the sole providers of ham radio communication support to the state's Department of Safety, Division of Emergency Services and Communication. Ham radio's important role in the community has since been underscored by a recent proclamation from the governor's office declaring June as Amateur Radio Month in New Hampshire. New Hampshire joins Hawaii in this formal gesture of appreciation for the hams in their state. In the world of DX, email DL8JJ will be using the call sign EA5/DL8JJ from Peñeta de Moro, IOTA number EU-151, between the 7th and the 9th of June. Listen for him on 40 through 10 meters, where he will be using CW and single sideband. QSL via M0OXO's OQRS. Listen for Bo, OZ1DJJ, using the call sign OX3LX from Greenland, IOTA number NA018, where he will operate holiday style from 2 locations. He will be at Grid Square GP47PA from the 5th through to the 9th of June, and at Grid Square GP44DE from the 10th through to the 22nd. See QRZ.com for other details. Special call sign PA2025 NATO is on the air through June to mark the NATO summit being hosted by the Netherlands for the first time on the weekend of June 24th. QSL details and other information is on QRZ.com. Domenico, IK1MNF, is using the call sign IK1NMF/IA5 from Isola di Elba, IOTA number EU-028, from early June until the end of September. This is for Domenico on 20 through 6 meters, where he will be using single sideband most of the time. See QRZ.com for QSL details. A recent joint de-expedition to Kosovo was much anticipated after a series of postponements and delays. What was not anticipated, however, were some of the contacts the 2 operators had towards the activation's end. Jim Meechan, ZL2 BHF, wraps up this week's newscast by giving us those details.
Anne, OH2YL, and Marco, OH2LG, were finally ready for that long-awaited 10 days of intense operating deep in the Balkans as Z68YL and Z68OM, respectively. The contacts came in exhilarating waves as the pair operated from May 20th through to the 30th. Then, just days before the big finish, the 2 operators were confronted with a pile-up like no other. Cows, a herd of at least 50 of them, rampaging through the antennas and messing with the guy wires. A blog post written by Jari OH6BG said that, quote, "the guy wires were given the ride of their life," end quote. As for the feed lines, well, the cow's teeth took the word feed line quite literally. The feed lines for the end-fed half-wave wire antenna and the 6-meter dipole were both chewed through. With some repair work and a new vertical antenna, the operators were soon back in business. By the time they went QRT, despite high winds, QRM, and bovine intervention, they managed to work their way to a total of just fewer than 10,000 QSOs. Resilient, determined, and resourceful, they would not be cowed in Kosovo. This is Jim Meechan, ZL2BHF.
A good QSO can be like poetry, sometimes. So why not write a haiku about amateur radio and join the Newsline Haiku Challenge? It's as easy as writing a QSL card. We can only accept the correct haiku format, that is, a 3-line verse with 5 syllables in the first line, 7 in the second, and 5 in the third. Submit your work on the website at arnewsline.org, and each week's winner gets a shout-out on our website where everyone can find the winning haiku. With thanks to Amateur News Daily, AMSAT News Services, ARIS, David Behar, K7DB, DX World, the FCC, NASA.gov, NOAA, Radio World, the Radio Society of Great Britain, Rockford Scanner, shortwaveradio.de, Stepper, 13 Colonies Special Event, Wireless Institute of Australia, and you, our listeners. That's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline. We remind our listeners that Amateur Radio Newsline is an all-volunteer nonprofit organization that incurs expenses for its continued operation. If you wish to support us, please visit our website at arnewsline.org and know that we appreciate you all. We also remind our listeners that if you like our newscast, please leave us a 5-star rating wherever you subscribe to us. For now, with Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT at the news desk in New York, and our news team worldwide, I'm Paul Brown, WD9GCO in Valparaiso, Indiana, saying 73. And as always, we thank you for listening. Amateur Radio Newsline is copyright 2025, all rights reserved.
This concludes our Monday evening transmission of Amateur Radio Newsline. Net to start in about 8 minutes.
W8VPV. Repeater.
Did you go back into the data mode?
Yes, I did.
Did you go back into the data mode? Okay.
Yes, I did.
Did you go back into the data mode? Here, so I'm not going to rush. Okay, rush away.
Yes, I did.
Did you go back into the data mode? Here, so I'm not going to rush. Okay, rush away.
Yes, I did.
Click auto. Did you go back into the data mode? Here, so ability to save the document.
When I hit auto send, I saw nothing. It does say down here next to the MT63-2KL, 660 bytes per 40 seconds.
WHWOO repeater.
And that sounds correct. That's what you would expect it to say. Switch to the data mode and come back to that window and click the send button at the bottom.
But I'm not sure about the adults. Anyway, I haven't seen them for a while. So, okay, yeah, we're going to be at the Canaries tomorrow, and hope to see a bunch of you. So that's about it for me and Judy. Back to you, Glenn. W8PM in the group, 7-3 everyone, and 8WS. And Judy.
No, it would take that 35 seconds of length of time for it to do so. So I don't know what the setting that is not correct on
my iPad reprogram the whole darn thing again in order to get anything. Yesterday I wanted to go on Amazon.
Let me reboot everything here, and I'll be back with you in just a minute, okay?
I'll be
Then I'm going to go through and reprogram the darn thing. and then go through a password again and all that stuff. They may, I don't know why they do those things. You buy the darn things you don't want to do. So that happened to me on Sunday. I wanted to go on Amazon. I said that about 3 times already. But anyhow, I gotta find out what my old password is and see if I can get on it. And then I'll start a new password. I don't know. But it's mind-boggling here for an old guy like me. Anyhow, so I'll make it short, and I'll give Kevin a landline call to see if he can pick me up for tomorrow. So I'll give it back to you, and I'll say 73 to everybody, and we'll try to catch you tomorrow. So back to you, Glenn. This is W8VPV, back to net control.
Hey, Ken, W8KH, 7-3 from W8, Victor Mike. Now we've 7-3'd everybody who is known to be in the net.
P3KB repeater.
Any final check-ins for the net? This is W8 Victor Mike. W8VM clear. Now Alpha Foxtrot 8 Charlie.
WE repeater.
Second Enforce Monday at 23 hours local time.
Message. They just make, the ability to send the macros
Good evening, calling all amateur radio operators. Welcome to the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club Monday night VHF UHF net. My name is John and my call is W03X. However, for the purposes of this net, I'll be using the club call Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor. This is an open directed net. All amateur radio operators are invited and encouraged to check in. You do not have to be a club member. All traffic will go through net control, and since emergency traffic may break in at any time, please leave a brief pause between transmissions. The purpose of this net is to bring together all amateur radio operators for the exchanging of amateur-related ideas and information to enhance net operating practices and to keep members up to date about club happenings. This net meets here every Monday evening at 8:30 p.m. local time, preceded by Amateur Radio Newsline at 8:01. We will start with announcements and then ask for check-ins from any officer or member who has an announcement of general interest to the club. Once that is complete, I'll take check-ins, call signs only, 5 at a time, and confirming each call sign. Then I'll correspond with those 5 check-ins and ask for 5 more until the activity slows down, and then I'll go 1 at a time. If you're a regular participant, I'll probably recognize you by call sign. If not, please give your call repeated phonetically, followed by your name and your location. When all check-ins have been corresponded with, I will repeat the announcements, and then I'll give one last call for check-ins. We also operate a band exploration net at 9:30 p.m. after this net. Please join us if you have the privileges and equipment. Well, it's on 10 meters, so if you have a license, you have the privileges. But you may not have the equipment. And so this evening, the 9:30 band exploration net will be on 10 meters on or about 28.360 megahertz, upper sideband. Okay, here are the announcements. The next regular meeting of the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club will be this Wednesday, that's June 11th, at 7:30 p.m. In person, it will be at the Pilgrim United Church in Cuyahoga Falls, which has a listed address of 130 Broad Boulevard, but you get to the meeting by going to the parking lot of that Pilgrim United Church, and which is on 2nd Street south of Broad Boulevard. Then go into the meeting place by going through the door, which is off the corner of the parking lot. Let's see, I forget if it was today or yesterday. No, it was yesterday. When I came down the ramp, I was northbound on Route 8 and took the Broad Boulevard exit. When I got to Broad Boulevard to go west on Broad Boulevard, I noticed that the railroad crossing is torn up on Broad Boulevard east of the underpass of Route 8. I don't know how long that's going to be like that, but if you're coming from the east, at least the way it is now, you can't get on Broad Boulevard because the railroad crossing is closed. Okay, let's see here. So again, the meeting is this Wednesday, June 11th, starting at 7:30 p.m. If you're going to attend actively via Zoom, the link is on our webpage, www.cfarc.org. Scroll on down along the right side to find June 11th, and there you'll find the link. Now, we will be having officer and trustee election, and so this will be the final nomination, and then we will have the election. If you would like to nominate someone for an office, contact them to make sure that that they would be willing to be nominated for that office or the trustee position that's open. If they say yes, then go to www.cfarc.org and the home page, and along the left side you'll see QST DE W8VPV News for You. You'll see there for June 2nd posted June 2nd is 2025 elections. Call for nominations, CFARC officers and trustees. So then the next column is the headline, and then the last column to the right is the link. And so fill out that form accordingly. If you got the person to agree to be nominated for that office or trustee. And then we will we're going to have a final round of nominations there on June 11th, and then we'll have the election. Okay, that's all that I have in the way of announcements at this time. Like I said, after this net, at 9:30 will be the band exploration net on 10 meters on or about 28.360 megahertz upper sideband. This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor asking for any member or officer who has an announcement of general interest to the club. I think that was W8EZT, but the signal's all chopped up and scratchy. Go ahead. That signal was no good there, if that's you, Frank.
Let's see. How about now, W8EZT?
Yeah, Yeah, that's good there. Go ahead.
Alrighty, I just walked in the house, getting back from vacation, so I don't have a lot to add other than we will also be talking about Field Day Wednesday. We had a meeting at the clubhouse putting together some basic plans. We wanted to bring everybody up to speed, so if you're interested in our Field Day and participating in it, please try to attend the meeting Wednesday. We will be talking it over. That's about all I've got, John. I'll try to catch you on 10 meters tonight if I can get all my antennas switches in the right position again. W8VPV back to net.
Okay, Frank, very good. Yes, so that's going to be a really good meeting there Wednesday. We'll be finishing up nominations. We'll have the election, and then we'll be talking about Field Day. Very good. Okay, this is Whiskey 8, Victor, Papa Victor. Are there any other officers or members who have an announcement of general interest to the club?
Alpha Charlie 8, X-Ray Oscar.
Alpha Charlie 8, X-Ray Oscar. Go ahead, Vince.
Good evening, John, and everybody on the net. First of all, Broad Boulevard's closed until June 13th, according to Cuyahoga Falls and ODOT. So, that may change. But it's closed until then. We can't go cross tracks. The newsletter has been submitted to Anthony, and when he gets around to sending out the link, it will be available for members. That's all I got, John. Everybody should think about having newsletter articles for July if they're interested. Alpha Charlie 8, X-Ray Oscar, back to net.
Okay, Vince, you hear that, people? Send the articles in there for July. Send them to newslettereditor@cfarc.org, where newsletter editor is one word. And as Vince mentioned, he has word that Broad Boulevard is closed at the river crossing until June 13th. So if you're going to the meeting on June 11th, go some other way if you're coming from the east. Are there any other officers or members who have an announcement of general interest to the club? This is Whiskey 8, Victor, Papa Victor. Okay, not hearing any. Are there, this is Whiskey 8, Victor, Papa Victor with John, WO3X at the mic, asking for check-ins. Let me take you one at a time. I'll acknowledge your call sign.
KEI, in and out.
KE8, KVI, Ron, I have you in and out. Thanks for checking in, 73, and have a good evening. Another check-in, please.
K8PU.
K8PU, Larry, I pulled you out of the pile-up. Thanks. We'll get back with you in a moment, maybe pretty soon. Another check-in, please.
W8VPV, this is Kilo Echo 8, Victor, Quebec X-Ray, KE8VQX, Joe, in Akron.
KE8VQX, Joe in Akron, I have you. We'll get back with you in a moment. Another check-in, please.
Alpha X-Ray, Mike. Good evening, John. Rick in Akron, in and out.
The beginning of your call sign got cut off. I got AXM. Go ahead with your prefix. Okay, I have you in and out, so thanks for checking in, and have a good evening. 7-3. Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor asking for check-ins.
KF8 A&O. Jim.
Let's see, was that Forrest, K88YAX?
Negative, Jim Owens, KF8 A&O.
Oh, okay, Jim, yeah, KF8ANO. Thanks for checking in, and have a good evening. I have you as in and out. Thanks. Another check-in, please. This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor.
This is Kilo Echo 8, Uniform Lima Charlie, Curtin, Cuyahoga Falls. I'm just checking in and out this evening.
Okay, Kurt, thanks for checking in, and I have you as in and out. And did you see that document that I sent to you?
Yes, thank you so much, John. Yes, I have. I'll try to get that going in the next day or two. Back to you, John, at W8VPV.
Yeah, Kurt, I have it printed out, and I always, I have notes scribbled on and stuff like that, and I always refer to that when I'm setting it up for another contest or whatever, so I keep it right handy there by the radio, so hopefully that'll get you going the way that you need it to. Thanks for checking in, 73, and have a good evening. Okay, let's see here. Okay, let's go up to Larry, K8PU. Go ahead, Larry, with your comments.
Hey, John, everybody on the net. Sounds like a little sparse tonight, but I guess we can live with that. We had a little test session down at the library. We had 2 new licensees and an upgraded general, and boy, they had some good scores. I can't really recall. I think about 3 was all the most that anybody missed or something like that. In fact, we had 1 ace on the upgraded general. John, I was going to ask you, didn't see any car show down there going down. So they quit having that on Mondays, or they have it somewhere else?
Brian, KF8G, mentioned during the N8XPK 6-meter multi-state net yesterday evening that he was there on June 2nd. So it apparently started last week, and I looked on the website, and it is now going to be active, but due to the weather, they didn't have it tonight. But it's going to be back in the same place it was last year, which is on 2nd Street between Portage Trail and Oakwood Drive.
That accounts for it. I just wondered, I hadn't given any thought this year, and I thought, this is where we're supposed to be at, and there's nothing happening. Okay, John, let you get off the net. Catch you on 10 meters. W8VPV, K8PR.
Okay, Larry, very good. Sounds like the volunteer exam session went well, so we'll talk with you at on or about 9:30 on 10 meters. K8PU, this is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor. I'll be clear with you. And let's see what Joe, KE8VQX, has to say. Go ahead.
W8VPV, this is KE8VQX. Hi, John. I really haven't much to say at all. Just wanted to check in and say hello with all you guys, and I'm going to try to get on 10 meters with you. I'd like to try the G90 that I bought at down at Hamvention, but I'm going to have to yank it out of a backpack and hook it up to an antenna, so maybe I'll just use the regular HF radio. Anyway, thanks for getting me in there, John. Nice to hear everyone. This is KE8VQX, back to net control.
Yeah, very good, Joe. Yeah, those G90s. It's a funny story with me and my two brothers. I won one at the Maslin Hamfest a few years ago, and then my other brother, I'm the oldest of us three boys. He won one at another Hamfest there in Western Pennsylvania. And then yesterday at the Breeze Shooters Hamfest, my youngest brother won a G90. So now all three of us boys have won a G90 at a Hamfest. So the Breeze Shooters people were all excited about that, so they took a picture of us boys lined up there in chronological order. So it may be on their website, I don't know. So that's what went on yesterday there during the main prize drawing, which the whole drawing thing, they really made it a lot of fun, and maybe we could incorporate that type of drawing method at our Hamfest. So it's good you have one of those G90s, and I've used mine to make some contacts on POTA there when I was out in western Ohio. So very good. I'll be listening for you on 10 meters there, Joe. So I'll be clear with you, and let's see here. Okay, the next three check-ins were in and out. So this is John W3X at the mic asking for check-ins for the Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor VHF UHF net. There's somebody trying, but they're not able to get any audio into the repeater. Okay, this is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor asking for check-ins.
Alpha Delta 8 Papa Foxtrot.
Was that Alpha Delta 8 Papa Foxtrot? Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. This is Greg from Cuyahoga Falls. That's my upgraded call sign.
Oh, okay. Yeah, very good. What level did you upgrade to?
I went up to amateur extra, so finished him off.
Okay, congratulations there. So what's going on, Greg?
Tonight I had a digital training net with a group in Columbus doing emergency communications training. And so aside from that, nothing.
Okay, very good. Well, thanks for checking in, 73, and have a good evening. And do you still have 10-meter capability?
Possibly. I'm in the car right now. If I get home in time to pull the antenna out, I might be able to.
Okay, yeah. I think you used to have a wire or something up in the attic. Do you still have that set up?
Yeah, I do. I just need to get a feed line and connect the radio to it. So I think I'll be able to make it. I'll try it.
Okay, Greg, very good. Well, we hope to hear you there. So 88PF, congratulations on your new call sign and license upgrade. We'll be clear with you, and this is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor asking for check-ins.
K8HMS.
K8HMS, go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, hi, John. W8VPV in the net, K8HMS. Yeah, it's weird. I was trying to check in on the 2-meter side, but I guess you said there was no audio or something, but one of those nights, I guess. So anyway, I switched to 440 and thankfully got in. But other than that, not much going on. Thanks for running the net. I'll try to be there for 10 meters, and just good hearing everybody. And yeah, we'll see. Try to make the meeting Wednesday. I'm not sure. If nothing else on Zoom. Anyway, back to you. W8VPV, K8HMS.
Okay, Steve, very good. Hopefully you can make the meeting, and we should be able to finish up the nominations on Zoom even, and complete the election. So we'll see how that goes. So, but hope to see you there at the meeting on Wednesday, and I'll listen for you on 10 meters this evening. Okay, this is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor with John W3X at the mic asking for check-ins.
Bill in Macedonia. Good evening, John. I'm going to be in and out tonight on my way home from a meeting.
Okay, Phil, I have you in and out. Thanks for checking in, 73, and have a good evening. Okay, so Phil was number 11. He's in and out. And this is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor asking for check-ins. Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor with John W3X at the mic asking for check-ins. Okay, I don't hear any at this time. I'll repeat the announcements. So the big thing is this week, this Wednesday, June 11th, is our meeting, and it will be at the Pilgrim United Church, which has a listed address of 130 Broad Boulevard, but you get to the meeting by going on 2nd Street, just south of Broad Boulevard, and go into the parking lot, and the entrance to the building is off the corner of the parking lot. Now, I saw the other day that the railroad crossing on Broad Boulevard is closed, so Broad Boulevard is closed east of Route 8, but if you're coming from if you're on Route 8 and want to come to the meeting, then get off at Broad Boulevard, and you can still make your left turn onto Broad Boulevard. And if you're coming from the north on Route 8, you can go down the ramp and make your right turn onto Broad Boulevard. The railroad crossing is east of Route 8 there, and just right beside the ramps there, actually. So to get to the meeting, you go on 2nd Street, just south of Broad Boulevard, and that's where the parking lot is, and go into the building off the corner of the parking lot. We're going to finish up the nominations, and then we'll have the officers and trustee election, and then we'll have a program about Field Day, which is the last Saturday and Sunday of this month. So come on to the meeting, and we'll have a informative and helpful meeting. Also, you can apply, or you can participate actively by using Zoom. And the meeting starts at 7:30, both on Zoom and in person. And so, to participate via Zoom, go to www.cfarc.org, scroll down the right side of the page there to June 11th, and there you'll see the link for the Zoom meeting. Okay, let's see here. Vince, AC8XO, who's the newsletter editor, is requesting articles for the July newsletter. So when you have your article completed, send it to newslettereditor@cfarc.org, where newsletter editor is one word. Okay, let's see, that's all that I have in the way of announcements. So this is Whiskey 8, Victor Papa Victor, with John, WO3X, at the mic. Last call for check-ins. Okay, not hearing any at this time. In preparing to close this net, I would like to thank all of you who took the time to join us and check in tonight. Without your participation, there would be no net. This has been John and my calls WO3X, and it's been my pleasure to host this evening's net. At this time, I will close the net with 12 check-ins, counting myself, and return the repeater to normal and customary amateur radio use. This is Whiskey 8, Victor Papa Victor, closing the net at 9:05 p.m. local time. 7-3.
W8VPV. Repeater. Port link off. W8VPV repeater.